Okay, just to give you guys a bit of a recap on where we left off from yesterday, or what we're up to today. We stopped testing at La Hunter because Mirl heard some kind of valve train noise. He wasn't sure. The way he explained it was, he heard the noise, and as he was reaching up to turn the car off, it just shut off itself. So yesterday we brought it straight back in and pulled the cam cover off, and everything looked perfect. So we're not exactly sure what the problem is, and there was actually testing on the mountain this morning, and Mel made the decision to not test. So he wants the car to be perfect for race day. So we've taken today off. Tomorrow is going to be a setup day, and then obviously the day after that, Sunday, is going to be race day. So hopefully we can get the car sorted today and have it 100% for race day, because he didn't want to take it up today with a potential issue and then knock himself out of the competition. So that's the plan for today. We'll hopefully find anything wrong, get the car sorted 100%, and hopefully do well on Sunday. Got a question, Mel. The original Atlantics, so like the 008, 014, the exhaust, were they just like, it's obviously like a straight through exhaust, like a twin length header straight to exhaust? Are they just like a 3-inch or a 2.5?
I don't remember exactly. I tell you what, you can go out there in the trailer though, and if you go up in the gooseneck in the left hand side, the second cabinet forward should have like normally aspirated headers in there.
Were they Hasselgren design, Mel?
Yeah.
Have these been run, or are they brand new, never run? They're
Brand new. Brand new.
Wow.
We normally don't run this either. Like, we can only run this at a few tracks. Surprisingly, it's not as loud as you think.
What? That?
Yeah, we don't run a muffler with this setup. But it's surprisingly, you would think it would be extremely loud. It's not.
Really?
It's not that much loud. The muffler that we run is not much of a muffler.
Yeah.
So it's just kind of a slight noise suppressor.
And 4 to 2 to 1, not 4 to 1.
Yeah, that's a tri-Y setup. These links are important. You know, sometimes you'll find that the tri-Y is connected too close to here, and so in that case, it just responds as a 4 into 1. Mm. So these runners are important tuned links.
Interesting.
It gives more torque.
So we were just saying off camera, these headers in particular were designed by Hasselgren. He's obviously got an engine dyno, and these, you were saying he was going shorter and shorter every year and making more, so shorter primaries every year, and was making more and more power as he
went. With the tuning he's done on the engine, he found that like he was able to get the torque and everything that he needed to through other ways, and then we just kept getting better and better top end with this header arrangement. Tri-Y setup, you know. Sometimes we have run some other headers that are 4 into 1s, and that does give some really good top end, but like this is just like the best of all worlds coming together.
Cool. And so obviously, just to confirm for anyone that doesn't know, just a 1.6 litre 4AGE would make 240 horsepower at the flywheel.
Yeah, on Hasselgren's dyno. Everybody's different, you know. There's some dynos where I see people say like 260 or 250. It's like a good engine. I mean, some of the best engines I've ever run were like 243, 245 on Hasselgren's dyno.
Okay.
You know, that's no bullshit number.
No bullshit number. And then we had a bit of a look at your 1.8 litre stroker motor that he built for you, and that was 280. Did you say that he made?
That was 283 on the first pull.
283, nice. And were you running? Would that have been like a similar header to this?
This is the header we ran with that. Yeah. Cool.
But that's a massive question that I've always had was, you know, my exhaust being a restriction on my car, do I go 2.5 inch or 3 inch? And this obviously proves that 2.5 inch, as far as the exhaust goes, is going to be enough.
Yeah.
For flow anyway. So wow, that's really cool.
That's some good flow.
Yeah, cool. Thanks for showing us this, mate.
Yeah. I mean, the thing about an Atlantic is it's one of the most popular chassis and you know, power setups around because it's such an enjoyable car to drive.
Okay.
That's why it's so popular. Like, and for what it's worth, it's a car that's easy to drive for people that are not pushing it to the limit. Because like a lot of times with like a Formula 2000 or a Formula Continental or some of the like 2 liter, like 150 to 200 horsepower type cars, they handle really poorly on cold tires. You go out on cold tires, you slide around, and if you're not really pushing it, you never get everything up to temperature. What little arrows on the car you're not making full benefit of, and so the car really handles kind of bad. Well, an Atlantic, even if the tires are only half warm and you're driving half speed, it's still producing a bunch of downforce. It has big tires, lots of grip, so you can drive an Atlantic at half speed and feel like you're hauling ass.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of potential left, and that's where like the good drivers start to extract the full potential from the Atlantic car. But like an Atlantic car is enjoyable for almost anybody to drive. I mean, it's just at half speed, it blows anything you can drive on the street away, and most race cars too, for that matter.
Yeah. Was the last time you had a look at the gears is when you changed them out with me, or have you pulled it out since?
Nope. Last time was when we
Yeah.
changed the gear stack. Kind of did an inspection there, but for race day, kind of intended to do an inspection anyway. But particularly with some of the noise we heard, I'm positive it's not a gear-related issue, but we need to take it apart and have a look at everything anyway.
I think I did hear a bit of noise in the back here while it was in the pits. Is that just
clutch?
that's just
plates
normal?
rattling around.
That'd be normal.
No,
Eh?
actually, it's the gearbox. The gear
fuck.
stack.
Figured I'd better get a video of this so when I get my own Atlantic car I can refer to the video to rebuild the block.
If you get a 008 and you have to run the NST gearbox, there's a saying that if you're not a gearbox expert when you get a 008 with an NST, you will be by the time you sell it.
Yeah. I won't be getting 008, that's for sure. When I was talking to you.
You can put an SG3 on one, but might as well just get an 014.
I was going to say, just what you say about the chassis and the handling and everything, it's just doesn't make much sense.
So we're taking out, we're looking at the dog rings to make sure that they're clean. This is like the dog teeth, you know, this is your gear engagement. So that's engaged right there. This is also what you hear grinding. When you hear people trying to shift and they're grinding gears and stuff, this is what's grinding. It's not the teeth grinding. It's the dog rings not matching up.
Are they tapered so that they lock in once they're engaged?
Yeah, they have a slight taper to it. You can kind of see that right there.
Trying to see that the camera's going to be. Yeah, kind of got it there.
So second gear, dogs all look good right there. Then I'm going around and I'm looking at the gear teeth, you know, particularly in the base. I'm looking for any cracks that might develop. You're going to start seeing them here at the root of the gear first. So I have a look there. The wear and tear aspect is very good. I mean, a lot of people were saying that like this gearbox cannot cope with the kind of torque and horsepower we're putting through it, and we're putting substantially more than double what the normally aspirated version is putting out, and you can see that everything is holding up very well. Dog ring, second, third dog ring right here. Looks in great shape. M-Tron is controlling the shifting on this thing, so obviously it's doing a good job. If that was mistimed, you'd start to see some really heavy wear on these dog rings.
Okay.
So this wiping that you see on the outer is from where it spins on the.
I see. Okay.
So that's actually where you see the most wear on these gearboxes too, like this kind of like wiping metal to metal right there. It's trying to squeeze that. When it goes in the gear, it's pulling hard, and so squeezing that oil out right there, and so it gets that wiping. So you'll see that no matter what, but this is coming out in really good shape. There's very little of that type of wear and tear.
So this box being out of the 016, is the 014 box, even though it's different, it may not be as sturdy or whatever, is it similar?
It's almost identical.
Almost identical,
This aspect of it, you wouldn't notice the difference.
Okay.
The difference with the SG4 and the SG3 is it has a different first gear. First gear itself on the pinion side is beefier. The teeth are slightly wider, done intentionally for the extra torque of the 2.3 liter engine. So this aspect is the same. The case is different, but only marginally different. It's different because the rocker pivots are higher. Other than that, the rest of it is different. I mean, is the same, except for the castings are a little bit better quality on the SG4 as well. The SG3s tend to crack randomly in various places. and it doesn't seem to be a logical same place every time. You know, you can't say, well, it cracks in this. They crack all over the place.
Right.
So SG4s, we don't seem to have that issue. And then the rest of it, the big difference is inside the diff. The ring and pinion is a different ratio. The differential itself is bigger, more heavy duty than what it is in the SG3.
Can I put SG4 parts in an SG3? Like, I just want to do the. I just want to put a gear
Some
in
of
or
it
something?
crosses over. Yeah. So this, you can put this. You can put either gear ratio in. You can put an SG3 or an SG4 in. It's just the SG4 is a little bit stronger gear.
Yep.
You can put the first gear in either gearbox. Basically, I'll have a look at the shift rail guides right there. I'm looking to see if there's any damage, sometimes from like missed shifts or rattled shifts. This band right in there, that those thin marks, like the pins will start to break through there. But everything looks good there. This is your shift pin right there on the fork.
I see, okay.
So
And use safety wiring.
yeah, they will rattle loose.
Okay.
So each time you see they go up and down like that, that's a gear engaged.
I see, okay.
What happens here in this area is, let's say when the gear engages down here, if it rattles, it'll sometimes break this up here. Because the whole stack will try to move and this will rattle and like crack this part of the shift
the weak
barrel.
point, yeah.
And then the other thing you want to do is you want to make sure these are flowing smooth as you miss gears, rattle gears, like at the in which this is a paddle shift. So when I say missing gears, if there's a problem with the ECU and they are not shifting cleanly, this will start to develop a ridge right there where it goes in gear, and like the fork won't pivot easily on that part of the shaft. So you make sure everything's flowing really good.
So it would like bind up a little bit. So.
Yeah, it would definitely bind up and not rotate the barrel very well. So, but everything looks great. So there's nothing concerning that I'm seeing here. Everything still looks in great condition.
Cool. So now it's the reverse.
Yeah. Now we put the stack back together. So I checked this too. I'm checking backlash. Something that happens a lot on the SG3 and 4 is the nut on the pinion shaft will tend to loosen. And as that loosens, the pinion will start to like back its way out, the entire housing, not really the pinion itself, but the entire housing that the bearing goes in. And so this backlash will tighten up. So I'm always making sure that that's staying in the like kind of right backlash range, which minimum 3 thou, like up to 3 to 8 thou. 8's getting kind of extreme, but that feels right on the money right there.
So you say it'll tighten up, as in it'll move less? Like
Yeah, because what happens is the bearing starts backing out and it's putting pressure on the pinion shaft itself, and so the backlash will start to disappear.
I see.
And what will happen is you'll start to overheat the entire stack because it's moving back and it's kind of starting to compress the whole stack. You'll start to burn up the whole entire pinion stack because everything's getting like squished together as that nut loosens. The way we tighten them now, though, we haven't really had that. We increased the torque on it, and then we also stake it on the inside. So I haven't had a nut loosen since then. And also, Hewland made a new nut, so you have to make sure that you have the new updated nut. Loctite it, torque the shit out of it, stake it. It won't loosen on you.
When you say stake it, that means like you put like a wedge in there or something, is it?
Yeah, they had like these two cutouts in the pinion housing threads, the bearing housing. And then there's like a little staking groove on the new nut.
Okay.
And so it's made to be staked.
Okay.
And so you take a punch and you go in there and
I see.
stake it in place.
Yeah, I see. So for anyone that hasn't already seen part 2, this is actually the second time that we pulled this gearbox apart within the 2 weeks that we were in Colorado. So I left in the disassembly just to show that everything was working well, and I cut out the reassembly just so that the series doesn't get too repetitive. But if you're interested in seeing how the gearbox goes back together, definitely check out part 2. What's the go, Matt? You've taken the turbo off now for the 3rd time in 2 weeks?
Yep. Yeah. We had a boost leak between the throttle body and the Wiggins clamp. So we made a jig that we put on this and then spun the engine until it wouldn't leak air past it. Oh no, we put a plate behind the throttle body and then we pressurised the system, put 70 pounds in it, and we found a massive leak in front of the throttle body. So that leak was enough to cause the turbo to overspeed because it wasn't backing up in pressure. So these G series unfortunately are really delicate to overspeed. So we done it once and fucked it. So new turbo.
Just the shaft play there.
Yeah.
Swap the core out.
Thrust. It's got bad thrust, and then it's got sideways play as well. And we're leaking oil like a sieve into the rear housing. That's all oil.
So you guys had low oil pressure, and you said that there's a way for you to adjust it to increase it.
Yeah, so the factory oil pump. In the factory oil pump, there's the spring, and then there's there's this little circlip under it.
Okay, yep.
Okay, I'll show you. So this does the same thing as a pressure relief valve. So on a dry sump oil pump, you can normally adjust them, and right here, it's hard to see, but that's an adjuster. So imagine that there was that bolt there wasn't there, and it was just a circular groove cut underneath that, and then there's a spring above that. And basically all that does is preload the spring that we have. So when you buy like the pressure up valve kits for the 4As, there's a shim that goes above that. Think of that as an adjustable shim. That's all you're doing. You're preloading the spring so that its base pressure is now lifted.
Cool. So the boys are in full thrash mode. They're just trying to get the car ready for FanFest. I'm not sure if Mirl's in the Fast 15, but he's definitely got a spot out there. I think they want to be loaded up by 2 o'clock, and it's about 1 o'clock now. They've finished all the maintenance and everything they wanted to do, and this was kind of like the last chance they had to get the car together, because after FanFest tomorrow, obviously they got time to work on the car tomorrow, but tomorrow they're going to do like a setup day where you take the car up onto Pikes Peak and it stays out there overnight with security, and then Sunday's race day. So they're all on thrash mode. We're trying to get the car ready, and I'll take you guys with us to FanFest. So we'll have a bit of a look around, see some of the cars out there. Yeah, so when we arrived at FanFest, obviously this is like the videos are here. Obviously after we'd been there for a while. When we first got there was a pub just around the corner, and we went and hung out at the pub because there wasn't many people around. And after 30 minutes or so, I thought I better go around and get some videos before it gets too crowded. So I think you wanted to hang out with the boys, and I broke off myself.
Yeah.
And
no, I went for a walk too. I just
it was later on you went to look for me, but we went separate ways.
Yeah, we went different ways.
So like
I didn't see any of this.
Yeah, I turned left from where the pub was, and then you turned right you went for a walk with Chris. And I remember when we finally met up back again, we met up back at the pub.
Yeah.
And you were saying there's an 8.6 on the other side. You should go check out the 8.6. And you even bought me a shirt.
I went and bought you that shirt. Yeah,
it was a really nice
What
shirt.
the hell is that thing? What is that?
I'm not sure. Not too sure.
That was the one that crashed.
That's the one that crashed.
Yeah.
But
smoky, poor car. That thing got real fucked up.
It was definitely a cool event to go check out. There was a bunch of FMX going on too. Never actually saw. I heard it in the background, but I never actually went to watch it.
No.
It was so crowded over there.
It was so crowded.
But like, a lot going on. Like you said, like there was a lot of vendors selling engines, and that's Mad Mike's. Was it a 4-rotor?
Yeah.
4-rotor Mazda 3.
Did that blow up, or did he crash that?
I don't
Something
know.
happened.
Not too sure.
Oh, didn't he break his ankle or something, and then it was going to put him out of the drifting at this event, and then he ended up making it to drifting?
I did see him take off on race day.
Yeah.
I think I actually saw him take off after Mirl took off. I went and had a look, and then he actually drove on race day, I believe. So,
Yeah.
So, what
What
else?
is that, a Mazda 3?
It was a Mazda 3, the new
my
Mazda
God.
3. Yeah.
Weird car to do that to. That I didn't see that there, but that's been everywhere. Hey, SEMA.
Beautiful. Beautiful. A real standout, that one.
Yeah, well, that's a pretty
8.6.
cool car. He's done a good job with that thing, eh?
Yeah. So what else happened on this day? We actually went for a bit of a walk and had a look at some guns. There was actually a gun shop down the road.
Yeah. Well, we went to go get medicinal marijuana.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, that's right.
And they wouldn't let us buy it.
Because you didn't have a license. You need a prescription or something.
Yeah, and then there was other places that they told us about we could go get it from, so I ended up going there.
Yeah,
Not for myself, though, for someone else.
A few days later.
Yeah.
But, we went and had to look at some guns, had a bit of fun, and then you hired a scooter.
The electric scooter, because I didn't want to, I was sick of walking, because it was too far.
And it was a hot day. It was a bloody hot day,
It was
too.
really hot, and there was no atmosphere, so I was done. I was finished, so
Yeah, so
I thought, no, let's look at a scooter instead. And then I'd done trips, came and saved you guys.
yeah, we done some tandem on the scooter. It was pretty sketchy, but look, Ken Block's
Daughter's
Porsche.
car.
Yeah, that was a.
What's that? Is that an exhaust?
I think it's like a 3D printed exhaust. Looked to me. I'm not too sure, but
Wow.
it looked like it was 3D printed.
Wow.
That's what they're doing these days.
I never really looked at that car. It's a bit intense, isn't it?
It's very. I love it. I reckon it's awesome, but
reckon you
it's
like it?
definitely like
It definitely gets used. It's not like a show pony. It's like a
Where
race
were
car.
these?
These are where that 86 was.
Were they?
Yeah. And that same kind of... I think I went and seen these.
Is that right-hand drive?
No, I think it was left-hand drive.
Oh, it's a Colorado car as well.
Maybe it was right-hand drive, I don't know.
Is that, that's a Wolf, yeah?
I don't know. I'm not sure. Maybe.
That's Robbins, yeah?
No, I don't think this is not Robin's. This is someone
Robbins
else.
next to
This is in a different... Robin's car was completely, like, swarmed with people.
Yeah.
Like, I went to get a couple of shots of Robin's car. There was no hope. I think I might have gotten something, but he had a massive line of people trying to get autographs, and...
Wow.
Yeah, I could barely get in there. But yeah, it wasn't... This event, it wasn't just the Pikes Peak race cars. There was, like, people's personal cars. I've seen some YouTubers' cars there, too, that I've seen over the years.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, a Supra. I can't remember the guy's YouTube channel. But
Yeah.
a Supra. This guy that had like a black Supra, and like just average people's cars. They come out for like a car show. It was
Yeah,
really,
they put in the car show.
it was a really good atmosphere.
Where was that? I've
Yeah,
seen
how
none
cool
of this.
is that, eh?
Where was I? That's so cool.
You should have come with me, man.
Oh, man.
You can see the valve. You can see the spring. Everything.
That's so cool. The direct horde injector, all the stuff. That's cool as.
I dig this thing. This is pretty cool.
Yeah.
The old Audi.
Yeah, that is pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, what the hell is that thing?
Was that a Lotus? I think.
I don't know, man, but that
that
was
the-
pretty cool. That had, I think it had a V12 in it. There's shoots, isn't it?
I think that's shoots there.
Yeah.
Either that or his teammate. There's the 86 that
Yeah,
you were
check
talking
that
about.
down.
I went for a mission. I think it was the last car I saw. I was like, where is that bloody 86?
I was
you
looking
spoke
in the
about?
engine
Yeah.
bay and it made me feel sick. And I was like, oh, man. I'll tell Nico that it's here, but I'm not impressed.
Oh, come on. It's always...
That's nice to see it. It's good.
But that's how it is, man. You've always... the build's always going. You know?
Yeah, yeah.
You know, so I'm sure they have dreams and aspirations to make it
100%.
better. So that's just how they are.
I'm just an idiot. I just like...
Yeah, it's got to be
If
perfect.
it's not perfect,
yeah.
I'm just like, oh, we got to fix that. Or, oh, melted a harness. I'll do a motorsport harness now.
Yeah.
And
The main
Not
thing
happy
is
with
like it's either like you can make it perfect or you can drive it.
yeah,
So
that's
I'm
it.
sure he's taking the.
And
option
I'm not
to drive
driving
it.
my
Yeah.
car. And he's driving
He's
his.
driving
He's
his.
doing. Who's doing the right
Yeah.
thing? Him. Remember the crackhead?
There was a crackhead here over on the right.
He was losing it. He was losing his mind.
and people were just ignoring him.
Yeah, just ignore it. Like
couldn't-
it
yeah.
was normal.
Yeah.
Like, oh, it was like a bird.
Yeah.
Like, you know how you don't even pay attention to a bird cheeping and
Yeah.
roasting around?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then
He's
the old
a
gun
gunshot.
shop, the old bloke there was a real nice guy.
Yeah. Yeah, he wanted us to move to America to vote for guns.
Yeah.
He was keen for us to move there and live in America and be gun owners.
But yeah, he was still a super nice guy. He
Yeah.
seemed like sort of bloke. He's just done a lot. He'd been in the military.
Yeah.
He'd just done.
He
lot
wrote a
of
book
things,
on gun firearms and
Yeah. So
he'd done forensic. He was doing. Remember, he was telling us that he was doing forensic and stuff for the police.
So, yeah, he would.
Firearm forensics.
Seems like the sort of guy you'd like to sit down and have a few beers with, and
Yeah, he'd have some cool stories.
had some bloody cool stories. So
Look at all the guns. I forgot how many guns there were there.
yeah, that's the thing. Like pistols in Australia, you don't see many. Like they do have them for sale, and people have pistol licenses, but you don't go to a gun shop and find a cabinet full of pistols. Cool. Well done, sir.
Were we supposed to be recording that?
So that'll be it for this video, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. And stay tuned for part 8, where after 2 weeks, we finally get the chance to drive up the mountain, and Mirl shows us some of the areas that he finds most challenging. Mirl also explains where we are throughout the entire drive, and he points out some of the most iconic areas of the mountain, including Evo Corner. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. I know this sounds silly, but if there's a straightaway, you able to get close to the edge so I can look off it? Fuck, that's high, man.